Do want to get back to the headlines as 2 days of hearings on defense motions in the case of a man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students led to the revelation of new details in the case. Fox News now reporting the defense appeared to confirm reports that Brian Kohberger was seen wearing rubber gloves in his parents' kitchen when tactical officers burst in to arrest him, taking him into custody. His attorney accuses one of the surviving roommates, an eyewitness, of having memory problems, drinking, and telling conflicting stories. And the defense also wants investigative genetic genealogy evidence suppressed, but their arguments did not appear to move the judge. If convicted, it's important to note that Kohberger does face the death penalty, and Idaho could actually become the first state to use death by firing squad as its main method of execution. I want to discuss this because Republican State Representative Bruce Skaug has introduced a bill to change the state's law, as right now the firing squad is a backup option to lethal injection. He does join us now live to discuss all of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Glad to be here. How can I help?
All right. Well, first off, I do want to ask you, can you break down for me what this actually does, what the bill, the legislation would do?
Well, as you stated, this moves the firing squad to the #1 option in Idaho for murderers that are on death row. And I want to do that because we had a botched execution attempt with pentobarbital or intravenous injection into a mass murderer. That's a fail. We need to fix that. I expect a lot less appeals issues with the firing squad with the Supreme Court.
You kind of already touched on this, but why was it so important for you specifically to be a part of this?
Well, initially, I brought the bill that brought firing squad back as the second option, and we did that because we couldn't get the pentobarbital. Magically, pentobarbital showed up once we passed this bill. But the firing squad, it's, I think, a more humane option. It's certain. There's about 10 seconds of real pain, according to experts. Where the pentobarbital, sometimes there are other issues with it, like the collapsed veins on this mass murder that we had, and we couldn't carry it out. So I think it's just a better thing in the courts. The U.S. Supreme Court has never opined that firing squad is unconstitutional. So I think we'll have less issues with it once we get it set up.
Do you see this moving forward as things do progress here?
I do. I think my committee will get it out of my committee onto the floor and up to the governor's office. No guarantees, of course, but I think we'll get this in Idaho as a good option. And we coincidentally, well, not coincidentally, a Florida company that does ammunition is volunteering to donate all the ammunition.
And what would you say to somebody who maybe is against the firing squad being used? What do you say to them to explain your rationale and your thinking?
I have a duty as a legislator to carry out the law. The law is that there is death penalty for those very rare cases in awful murders. We haven't been able to carry that out or carry it out well, and we need to do that for the victims who are often forgotten by the media and others, for the victims who died, for their families. I hear from those families who've been agonizing for decades for the justice that the courts have said they want done. I think we're going to get a couple of those done here in the next 6-8 months.
And you said a Florida company has offered to donate ammunition. Do you see, if this does move forward and Idaho does use the firing squad as its main form of execution, do you think other states will follow suit?
I can't predict that. I don't know, but possibly. Utah has firing squad and has carried it out. Not as the #1 option, but as an option. I think it's a good way to go.
All right. Representative, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and discuss this. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, just that we don't take this lightly or cavalierly. This is an important way to carry out justice in Idaho.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to join us here on this Saturday. We appreciate it.